Before we dive into today's episode, I wanted to share a special upcoming event. This September, I'm hosting my women only mindful movement retreat in Cape May, New Jersey. This retreat is designed to help you rest, recharge, and reconnect through yoga, gentle running on the beach, and walks in nature, mindfulness practices, and space to simply be. If this speaks to you, check the show notes for a special discount code just for podcast listeners and find all of the details at my website, mindful-marathon.com. I would truly love to see you there. Now for the episode. Hi there, and welcome to the Mindful Marathon podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Quirk, a run coach and pediatrician. Mindful Marathon is all about helping runners of all types to run their own race. Whether you are a seasoned runner or you're just getting started, I want to let you know that you're welcome here and that you're in the right place. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. And today I have a super special guest here with me. I have my friend, Dr. Tolu Olabintan here. She goes by Dr. O. She is fondly called by her patients, and she leads the team at Livingspring Family Medical Center, a primary care center located in Mansfield, Texas, that helps patients live long and well. She is a wife and a mom and loves the colors teal and orange and is a new runner herself. So welcome to the show, Dr. Tolu.
Thank you so much for having me. I got to say, I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Oh, I'm very honored to have you. So tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe a little bit about your running journey.
All right. So, a little bit about myself. I'm a family physician, wife, mom, not your typical athlete. Okay. Growing up, I ran away from bullies. I ran away after looking for trouble. That was my definition of running. I didn't run at any, I don't know, professional or even intramural sport level. Now, running though seemed to become an appeal when COVID hit, the idea of running. So I'll be honest with you, I've always dreaded running because I thought it was for the really fit and those who have mastered the breathing with running, who can talk with running. And I just thought that was not something I would do, because whenever I tried, I would run out of breath, or it's almost like I felt like my heart was in my chest. So I just didn't do it. When COVID hit and gyms were closed, and I started an activity where I would do a prayer walk early in the morning so I could watch the sunrise. And walking became rather monotonous, and I wanted to spice it up a little bit. And I'll be honest with you, I was one of those who would see runners going by and I'd give them that side eye, like, man, I wish I could run like you. Like, you make it look so easy, but maybe that's not my forte. And then I spoke with you, I remember. And even through it was a brief time, but you told me just run between
Mailboxes?
mailboxes. Yes. And I was like, ooh, like maybe she doesn't know that I'm not really a runner. But I mean, I watched you. You shared your story that was not something you do. You did that in honor of your dad, and how much this had become something you love. And I was like, you know what? Let me try. She makes it sound, you made it sound really easy. So I tried it, and I was like, oh my God. Like, I remember the first time, like, I'm running, and I could say it like without feeling winded. So I would walk, and then I would go in between. And I was like, wow, I could do that. And before I knew it, I was doing longer lengths. And then I got my husband. I told him about it too, and we did it together. And he was like, oh yeah. And so running is no longer because that was a very long-winded answer, but
No, that was
essentially that's how I started running. And so running doesn't sound like something so daunting to me, something I can actually do and I enjoy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I dubbed that the mailbox techniques. I I've told that to a lot of people because a lot of people will say, well, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if I could keep it up for, minutes. And I say, well, how about between mailboxes? And then some people, they get funny and they say, well, is that like a city mailbox or like in the country mailbox?
It's a shame. That is true. They're different. Some houses have the individual mailboxes and some have the collection, the ones where you use the keys. So that's funny. But you know what this has helped me do though? Like being able to do it myself, I can kind of like say, yes, I know what it feels like to think it's not something you could do. Just start.
Yeah.
Just start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important part. Now, how I know that we all have you take care of a lot of patients, and so do I, who have barriers to exercising, and we want everybody to exercise, but it's not always the easiest thing for people. What do you find, in talking to people? What are their biggest barriers to getting started?
Sometimes they say it's the time. Doc, I have to do this, I have to do this, I don't have time. I have kids, I got this to do, time. And then we go into social media timing.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
like, so do you have a tracker for your social media? And they're like, why, Doc? I'm like, yeah, I'm just curious. Like, how long do you track it? Like Instagram has a time limit. I said, how about instead of doing that, you sacrifice 10-15 minutes to just start. And so when we talk the time barrier, I say, because they always think 30-45 minutes, 1 hour is it. And so we squash that with start with 10 minutes.
Yep. Same here.
But it's so funny, the 10 minutes does feel like a long time
when you get started. Yes.
Yeah, when you get started. But over time, it goes by quickly. So that's one, time. The second one is motivation. Motivation, that's real. So I tell them that it's funny that there's so many things they're doing unmotivated. They just add this to it. I say things like, well, sometimes you don't feel like getting dressed. Like it's inconvenient. Like, but you know that if you step out the house without clothes, you end up in a nudie house. So you made that subconscious decision to do it as inconvenient as it was. I said, just there's so many things you're doing already. Running can be that inconvenience, but you're worth it. You're so worth that inconvenience. So I'd say those are major: motivation and time are the two most common, I would say, I see with my patients. Yes.
Yeah. And now you have, this part of your story. I know that there are a lot of objections to running in particular. So I can see sometimes, especially with my patients, if running just doesn't sound appealing to them, I try to get them walking. And so, you had your daily or almost daily walk routine before you transitioned to running. So what did you call it? Your walk prayer?
Yeah, it was a prayer walk. So
prayer walk. Okay.
Yeah, when COVID hit, the gym was closed, and we were having to do a lot of virtual appointments. It's amazing how, I don't know, as physicians, we get drained so much, even though we're not physically active. Because I used to wonder, like, why do I feel so tired, even though I did virtual appointments all day?
Yes.
But you're pouring, and so I needed something, because I can't give what I don't have. And so I was listening to someone, listening to a podcast or video message, and he was encouraging. He talked about his own routine. He would wake up really early, like 4 o'clock in the morning, to pray for like an hour or two. I'm like, wow, that's a long time. But he talked about a prayer walk, and I was like, you know what, I could start that. So that was the motivation to start the prayer walk. So, and the end of the first half, I get to turn around and see the sun rise. Like that's how. So I get to take pictures too. For some reason, Dallas sky looked so beautiful all of a sudden. I didn't notice when I first moved, but I would turn around and I would catch the sunrise. I'm like, wow. So that was my reward for taking the walk.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
That was encouraging too. Yes.
But I think it's nice too that you worked it, when you started running, you worked it into the routine you already had. So in some ways, if you already have a little bit of a routine, even if it's not with exercising, but whatever it is you do first thing in the morning, maybe you can find your 5 or 10 minutes there somewhere between I don't know, scrolling social media and having your cup of coffee to fit it in.
I agree. I agree. You make room for what's important to you. We help people, our patients see the importance of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
really
Now,
important. Yeah.
where do you see your running going, in the near future? I know you have been you ran our virtual 5K in the fall.
Yes, I did. Um, I'm 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 hoping to make it more of a permanent routine and increase the intensity of my running.
Okay.
I have it on my list of things to do before I reach a certain age, and is to run high levels of marathons over
Okay.
time. So
All right.
I'm challenging myself to actually run one.
All right. I
So
love that. Okay.
yeah, so I'm like, it's something I need to do, and I need to do it soon. Check. Right. So and yeah, and the same way I tell my patients, if it's for weight loss or for helping to reduce your blood pressure, I say, how about same time frame, just increase, speed or increase intensity, or add running if you're just walking. So increase intensity to reach your goals.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the same way to me too. I gotta amp it up. So
Well, you have time. Well, I don't know by what birthday you want to reach that by, but you have time.
thank you. Oh, I was hoping to do one before the end of the year. I say
Okay.
that out
Okay.
loud. Yeah, I was hoping to do one
All
before the
right.
end of the year. That was like almost like a gift to myself, like run
Yeah.
one, and I do it. Like you can relate. Stepping outside our comfort zone is what we're trying to normalize.
Yeah.
I can't stay where I'm at. I need to grow. I need to stretch myself some within reason, and
Yes.
that's one way I can stretch myself. So,
Oh, I love that.
challenge
Yes.
taken. Mhm.
Challenge taking. Yes. Yes. So we can stretch ourselves.
Yeah.
So, we're talking about exercise, about taking up maybe a new sport or taking up running, which maybe, no one is, you're sitting there listening, thinking like, I would never do that. And why would I necessarily need a coach? And I think, what would you say, to the person sitting there saying like, well, but I'm kind of a beginner runner. What would I need a run coach for? Why would I do that?
Now, I'm going to say this. I just remember that one of the things that also discouraged me from running was because I was told I had chicken legs when I run. Like I look funny when I run. And you're laughing. Yeah, I was told I had chicken legs. And then also, like I said, I would get winded easily.
Mhm.
It's so interesting how much of a mindset shift having a run coach can have on you, because that's one of the biggest hurdles to actually taking up something new, the mindset. And that's one of the things that you helped me do. Hey, you simplified it. No pressuring yourself to attain a certain mile or this, just start. That was one. And then number two, I strongly believe in the power of coaches. Whatever it is that you think you may have a mindset block, or you think may be a challenge, sometimes you have to go with people who have actually experienced this and overcome it, and they can look back and say, hi, I can work you through this. I never thought I'd be a runner. If you knew me, you'd be surprised that I'm running. And it's so interesting. There's so many other things that I'm doing that people are like, wow. And so the mindset work, number one. Number two, simplify steps, and you work with your client. 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, before you know it, you emerge as someone different, and that's okay. All right. So mindset shifts, number one. Number two, simplifying the process. They're actionable steps that you can take one foot in front of the other, and before you know it, you're running. I'm a runner. Shoot, I'm a testifier, and I
Yeah.
didn't used to be one.
I love
I
this.
did not.
But I felt the same thing. I probably ran for probably about 4 or 5 years before I ended up reaching out to a running coach, because I thought
Wow.
that, to have a running coach, you had to be an elite runner or, very fast or people who wanted to qualify for the Boston Marathon. Like I thought, I'm like very slow and a relative beginner. Like I don't know why I would have any business, working with a running coach. And really, I made so many advances so much faster that first maybe year or two that I worked with my coach, that I saw the value of it right away, even after the first maybe probably 3 months, like when I ran my first race. Yeah. And then I was sold on it ever since. And then became a coach. Yeah.
It's amazing. It's
Yeah.
amazing. I just hope people catch on to the idea. You feel better, exercising, you feel much better. It's such a stress reliever as well. Better sleep is linked to running and exercising. So
Yeah.
what do you have to lose? Just try it.
Yeah. Yep. Try the mailbox technique. And then you can let us both know how it goes.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
Now, tell everybody where they can find you.
So I am in Mansfield, Texas, not too far from Dallas, as opposed to Houston, Texas. And we have a website, livingspringmedicals.com. And we're on social media, Facebook at Livingspring Medicals, and on Instagram, Dr_Olabintan, Olabintan.
Love it. And I will leave those links below so everybody can find the site and your Instagram page, which is great.
Thank you. Thank you kindly.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us and for sharing your experience. You have a very inspirational story, and I look forward to all of these marathon goals. Okay.
Yes, no pressure.
Nope.
Yes. Sounds good. Thank
all
you,
right.
Coach.
Oh, yes, my pleasure. And thanks everyone for joining us, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you for listening today. If you enjoyed the episode, please share it with a friend. And if you have a moment, please rate and review the podcast so that we can reach and encourage others to tie on their sneakers and join us out there on a run. See you next time.